Hey everyone, this is DayTraderRockStar, and it is an update going into Friday, July 8th. I am back from vacation, a little 4th of July, a few days off. I got back today, right at the close, and I just made my way into the office. I want to do a little research and talk markets with you, and anything else that might come to my mind right in the next few minutes. It's really tough, and again, I always like to touch on the psychology and the emotions of a trader. But for me as a trader, it's very hard to go on vacation. It's one of the hardest things for me to really enjoy. I try sometimes to say, all right, I'm going to take everything off the board, I'm going to liquid, and just kind of roll with it that way. But I'm still feel like I need to be in touch. And it was funny because I was out at the Cape, and I was farthest from being in touch this week. I did not know what the market was doing each and every day. We had no cell phone connection. Of course, the internet did not work. I mean, we had TV, but we just didn't bother with that because we're on the beach all day. And each day went by, and then I get a glimpse of it on the news or something that the market was rallying. And I said, makes total sense that the market's rallying. And just because, and I think a lot of people had to doubt about this market rallying to new highs. And I kind of always said that, I am bullish making new highs later this summer. I didn't expect to see a tremendous bullish run here, but looking back at it, it just seems more obvious that it is reacting this way. We never really broke down. In the last post I sent out before 4th of July, I said, I'm bullish at this point that that the market has thrown everything at us, and yet we haven't, reacted to. We haven't broken down through March lows. So came down to the 200-period moving average. Actually formed this channel and exploded through it. And it was two levels to watch. Again, that recent support level here, 1345 to 1347, which was actually recent resistance level, and then the next level is new highs and the upside of this rising wedge, which looks like we have it dead on. That would be the best area to watch, and if the market might even take that out, because remember, everything that's been thrown at the market lately is nothing. I mean, everything from tsunami in Japan to Egypt, to change of regime, to Greece. Issues, our debt issues, our unemployment issues, our housing issues, and yet look where we are. Now, one thing about the employment rate, and I kind of touched on this before I left, and how important, we've been, for those out there in probably my age in the 40s or whatever, we've always known the unemployment rate to be you never really, unless you're a trader, you really never really think about what it means. And and 10% or 9%, even we'll call it 9%, sounds like a lot because we've been embedded into this. But they never look at the positive side of things. And I like sometimes to throw this thing right around and say, hey, that means there was 91% people working. I mean, what happens to that? I mean, these maybe 9% unemployment is the standard now. Let's forget about eyeballing this and putting this under the focus light, and let's concentrate on why the market's really lifting here, because there's growth out there. There's tremendous growth, and there's going to be a new breed of growth with new technology coming along. So there might not be as many jobs, but it's going to be because there's not enough people to fill those jobs. I don't think the education, is going to come into play now. There is plenty of jobs out there, but who's willing to learn what you need to learn to get these jobs? This world is progressing, and unless you're willing to keep up with it, you might be, carrying groceries. And there's only so many of those jobs, right? So there's plenty of jobs out there for people out there who are skilled and trained. And another thing about the unemployment rate, it's a lagging indicator. It's proven that it's a lagging indicator. From 1948 to 2004, unemployment rate has ranged between 2.5% and 10.8%, averaging approximately 5.6%. It's considered a lagging indicator, confirming but not foreshadowing the long-term market trends. So, everyone's saying, all right, we're at the bottom part of our range, that 10% range. We're going to see a move back up, and then we're going to see the change in the unemployment rate because it's lagging the actual movement. So, of course, we're going to all right, we haven't changed on the unemployment rate, but these surprises we're getting on unemployment now and jobs numbers are surprising to the upside. It makes sense. It makes sense this whole thing is just playing out in a big wave. The unemployment, all right, we had a dip down here, and then we're going to move back up, and we're going to, and the market's pulled back a little, and we're going to move. Nothing's changed. There's no dramatic event that has changed the course of our economy. And, and I thought a lot about this, and I might be going off on a rant today, but, there's a lot of people out there that just want, apparently America to collapse under its own weight and mistakes and stuff. And having all the, you need to short, you need to buy gold. The market's going down to, it's down the tubes. We're going to collapse. Everything else. Yeah, you know what? It does sound good and it looks good on paper, but I think you gotta buy America. You can't continue to short it because eventually you're gonna get beat. And I understand. I'm crossing some lines here because you're gonna say, all right, there's two sides of a market. Yeah. But I'd rather be in the 7-day, expansive, extended run than trying to, and I'm saying coming back. I said, I was very confident in this moving up. It made sense to me. Yet I did take a few shorts in this because the overall media out there and everyone makes the situation so dire. 9% unemployment, the worst, the death ceiling, the collapse, the contagion, all these words, they're meant to scare the media. Shit, I'm so out of touch. Tell you the truth, honest truth. This is, might be going off the wall. I'm out in Cape Cod, off on the beach, some house somewhere out there, no cell phone, no nothing. My father-in-law puts on the TV and they're talking about this murder trial that's on TV. I said, who's this? She goes, no, this has been going on for the last 3 months. It's like the biggest trial. So we happen to see the conviction and everything. So I ended up getting hooked onto this for like one whole day of watching this. Like, forget going out to the beach. I'm hooked. I had to catch up. I did not know anything about this trial because I am only listening to one. I'm always just focused on stocks. I have no time. It's either stocks or swamp people. I have no time for any kind of news. Maybe Swamp Brothers too. So I'm like, no, she killed that baby. Oh, guilty. I'm like coming out with my thing. How could you kill a little baby? I was really I got suckered into this whole thing like everyone else. I'm like, oh, now we had to go to the car. I'm like, no. Well, we go down there. We have Sirius satellite on the car, so I put in there, shh, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, not guilty. And I'm like, oh my God, she's found not guilty. This is crazy. And I was like, I just watched it for one day only, and that's how hooked I was. That's what media does. My closing here is not about me getting hooked on a trial, but what media does to you makes you believe and sucks you into everything. It sucks you into the world collapsing and everything's going down. Everything's going to happen to us because it happened somewhere else. So it's amazing, and sometimes you can step outside and look in. And then people are going to say, all right, give me the hate mail and stuff and say you have no clue, whatever. You're just living in a dream or you're too bullish and stuff. Well, you know what? That we'll find out. We'll find out. Right now, I think if you were a little bullish here, I understand that we extended. So, again, it's very hard for me to take a new position here. And that's what, another reason I'm doing this video right now is to talk about market conditions. And in the extent we can't help but feel there's an overbought area here, but this is all relative too. This they were calling this overbought, and then it went up to here, and this was overbought, and then it went up to here. All right, so it's all relative on the move. This could be overbought, but not compared to when it was up here. It was definitely not overbought once it's up here. So I don't go into those. I try not to get suckered into the general consensus and the public. Read on the market. I say, all right, the market's showing strength. It's, stochastics are embedded. I use my indicators to give me great entries. But again, coming back to the point now is that where would we find an entry on this? It's very hard now to go through and take a look at some entries. So I was doing some searches today. Let me see if I can actually find. I was on FinViz, and I was looking at some of the wedge patterns, and I'm like, all of them have made their moves out of the wedge or push out. This is normally, I love to buy, I love any type of setup where I have a lower channel line. If it's a wedge or a channel, it's fine. But if I have a lower trend line, love to buy off of that. And all these stocks right now you can see in the market are already broke off and have really extended. So I'm really looking at that next opportunity in the market, and that would be on my first pullback of a trend line break. In some cases, these are still moving higher. So it's very hard for me, based on some of my, my things that I base myself on getting into the market. Let me just turn this down here. I gotta move this over. Oh, all right. I see what I did wrong here. There we go. Back to the S&P. It's very hard for me to get into the market at this level. So, going into Friday, I thought I was gonna have to take a time off, but the market was just gonna kind of just do its own thing, eventually moving higher. Here's a good example of BTU as a lower trend line breakout of the channel. I'm just going to look at a couple stocks, not really looking at too much tomorrow, because I really had to get back into tune with the markets. And you'll know what that means after the years of doing it. You take a few days off. It does take you a while sometimes to just get back into a rhythm. But I'll definitely be there with you tomorrow morning. Again, anything else, high probability setup, high probability setup, high probability setup, high probability short now as we're extended terminal off. But we don't want to short this market because, I think in some cases could be considered, still very cheap. The valuation very cheap. So this one, Sienna, this is actually maybe possibly giving us one of the setups I usually like. It's the bounce, the first bounce, the first retracement of the bounce, and the breakout. So we're looking at a pullback here. I don't know if that's it, or if this is, starting to move up off of this. But it is something that we could watch. And that is CIEN. NTAP. I have them on my notes. I was going to do a whole, try to do some lot more research tonight, but I have a feeling that if I get it over right now and just talk to you my thoughts right now, it'll be much more productive because I'm more passionate instead of drudging through all the research and getting tired later. NTAP looks good. Nice cup and handle developing here. Not stock that you, you can see the neckline and the pullback. That's something you see every day, the cup and handle formation. So we're pushing up against that. Something I'm interested in the longer run, but again, just looking at a couple of these. CRE, I said, well, let me take a look at CRE because CRE hasn't really broken out, basing out. Basing out, but not breaking out. We had some good volume yesterday, so maybe this leads into tomorrow. So this could be actually a positive for tomorrow. I like CRE down at this level. We actually got one trade off of it before recently, and this again continues to hold right now. So that'll be on the focus list tomorrow. JP Morgan. Banks haven't, from what I've done my research. Again, I've been researching. Banks have probably been the weakest sector in the last few days. But a couple of them held up. JP Morgan pushed up the top of its channel line, but it broke down yesterday, reversed. So did Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo actually closed pretty good. But they're still, JP Morgan in that that channel, and Wells Fargo in the inverted head and shoulders pattern breakout. And Seva. Here's a stock that's been just... Let me make sure I got everything up here and right. Seva daily. Seva. I have it down on my list. I don't know why. Oh, you know why? Because I'm probably looking at some channels that are starting to develop here. So I'm looking at these to measure these out. If we did get a move up here and we start to see some weakness into that level, this does look like a potential lower trend line that will eventually get tagged again. Really getting extended from the 200 period moving average. Again, shorts are much harder in this market because people want to make money, right? They don't want to lose money. So sometimes it's not, it's, when stocks in motion tend to stay in motion, and there's a lot of other sayings out there. But looks pretty good. If we do start to pull back here, lower trend line, something we can start watching, put it on the watch list. Seva. And FOSL. Excellent. It's very strong stock. Don't understand why it's this high, but again, it's this in Coach. Luxury brands, very nice performance. really getting extended here off the 20-period moving average. That's why I have it on the list. As a short, possible short, we get an extension. We're definitely overbought. We have a little negative candlestick. Could be something here on Fossil. And same thing with Weight Watchers International. We got a first real bounce. This was a really nice run. So we had that first pullback and that first bounce. So lots of times you'll see this type of move, and you'll be able to track some kind of channels here. So we're going to see if this plays out. This is WTW. And that's going to be it for tonight. I want to just touch base and say, hey, I'm back. I'll be in the market. Big thanks, big shout out to Dak, who covered for me. Loved the feedback, and everyone else who contributed to the show. I'm sure everyone as a team unit here always helps out. So I appreciate that. Tonight, if you happen to get this tonight, RPM is having a very special Trader Spotlight with ES Junkie in it. And that's going to be at 10 o'clock p.m., DayTraderRadio.com. 10 o'clock, ES Junkie, one of the best ES traders I've seen in a long time, trading live in our chat room each and every day. So he's going to be the first time on. He's been called out to come on the Trader Spotlight for a while now, and this is the first thing. So it should be a big show, and that starts at 10 o'clock, and I'll see you there. DayTraderRadio.com.